Okay, so Cloud has these cool connections, right? You have web search, Drive, Gmail, Calendar, but it can only do search. It cannot perform actions on your behalf. And that's why Anthropic introduced MCP, which lets you connect an LLM like Claude to any API, and it lets you call tools. So I wrote an MCP for myself that will let me connect to Google services and create new files in my Drive or modify them. But when I got to work, I realized, well, how do I actually let the AI do these actions from my account? I need to somehow provide it with something like OAuth, but how do I do that in an MCP server? Well, today I want to show you how you can do that the simplest way. Note that it only will work for local versions of MCP. So if you wanted it to work like a production grade MCP server with proper backend in Google Cloud, it's not going to work. It only works for applications that are in testing because it's a bit of an deprecated way to do it, but still it's the simplest one you can imagine. And I thought I'd share it anyway, because some people might find it useful to just, for their own use, have something easy and ready to go right away. I'm going to share the code in the comments, create a GitHub repo, and yeah, let's just get right into coding. So first of all, we are going to need some imports. You can set up a simple MCP server using this documentation, model context protocol.io. I'm actually following this one, and you can select Python because I'm going to be using Python, and set up a new project using UV. Okay, so these are the packages that we are going to need. Install them first, and what we are going to need is first of all .env, because we will be using OAuth, the old method, let's say, to load the tokens that we're going to save in JSON to our MCP server in Python file. So that's why we need to also create an MCP. I called this one YouTube outlier before, but let's call this one simple MCP. And we need these two variables, the client ID and the client secret. So when you go to Google Cloud and you create a new OAuth client ID, you can see the breadcrumbs here. You need to select the desktop app and create a new client, and then you can copy the client ID and the client secret into .env. Okay, I hope you copied your own keys and pasted them to your .env file. Now we can start the actual authentication process. So we are going to use the out-of-band flow for CLI apps. This was deprecated some time ago, but for this use case, it's the simplest way you can authenticate an MCP. What it's going to do is it's going to redirect you to a link. You're going to sign in like you usually do with Google, and you're going to receive a simple token that you can copy, and then you paste it as the next message to your AI, and it will finish the authentication for you. So we are going to also save that, so we don't have to do this every time we use the MCP. So we are going to do a simple file with the token. Now we can paste in the scopes that we're going to need. I'm going to use Drive and Documents and YouTube because maybe I'll create a new version of that MCP. Let's see. Then we can create the credentials, which will be the variable holding our token. And if there is a token file, we will load those credentials. And then we can create a new tool. Thanks, cursor. Well, that's not what we're going to be doing. I've got the code prepared. This will be a long one, so if you don't follow, feel free to pause this video. Okay, so we're going to need an authenticate tool, and it's going to use Google OAuth to access our scopes. So if we have the creds and they are valid, we can already authenticated message can be returned. And then we're going to create a new flow from the config. We are going to paste the client ID, the secret, the redirect URI, which is this thing we defined here, the out-of-band flow. It simplifies the whole authentication process, and the auth URI and token URI, and paste in the scopes. And yeah, we got this out of the way. Now we can create an authorization URL that the AI will give us back, and we can do a try to actually open the browser right away, so you don't have to click the link. This is optional. And yeah, after that, we need another tool, which is complete authentication. So I'm going to paste it right away. What it's going to do is get the authorization code that we will copy paste from the browser. And once again, it will now create the flow, and this time fetch the token, set the credentials, and save that to a token file. We don't have to create any servers, which is usually the preferred way to do authentication. You just need two simple functions like this, and it's everything. That's the whole code that you need for authentication, and let me show it how it works. Now let me show you how it works. All we gotta do now is just add a simple if name equals main simple mcp.run statement at the bottom. We are going to use the simple command that you can find in the inspector. So now we can connect to the MCP, we can list the tools, and we have authenticate and complete auth. Now if we run the tool, we get redirected, and we can choose an account, and we can click next. And I already gave access to some of these things in the previous MCP, but if I click next, I got this authorization code. I can just copy it and now run the complete auth tool with this code, and look, we've got a success and the credentials were saved. We have some unstructured content warning, but if we look now, we've got a token saved with the credentials, and yeah, we are pretty much all set. And now you can perform actions on behalf of the user's account using your MCP. I hope you find this useful. If you do, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.